What's up guys, it's Blue Wolf Nerf, and I'll be honest with you, I've been looking through my other videos, and if you read my channel description, they don't really match up. So, what I set out to do when I started my YouTube channel was to help young, inexperienced Nerfers gradually work their way into the world of Nerf and modding. And I haven't actually done any mod videos yet. Really weird to me, and I haven't really taught you guys how to do anything useful either, so I apologize for that. But that stops today. One of my favorite blasters, and what I think one of the best blasters for beginning Nerfers is the Strongarm. And I love the Strongarm. It's a great blaster. It can do some really impressive things. And I'm going to show you how to mod one. I'm not just going to mod any Strongarm though. Now, if you saw my video a couple weeks ago, you will know how much I love the new Amazon Recolor Strongarms. Specifically, this one, the Teal Strike Perry the Platypus Strongarm. Yes, I will be modding Perry, and I'm super stoked because I've got some fun new parts for it that I can't wait to try out. So we'll see how well this goes, and hopefully you guys can figure out how to mod one too. We good. All right, so here we have our Strongarm, and here are the materials you're going to be needing. It's really simple. You're going to need, first of all, a screwdriver. One about this size works really well for Nerf blasters, and this one should fit into all of the holes in this blaster quite nicely. Now, for bigger Nerf blasters, you're going to need a much longer, thinner screwdriver, and I have another one of those. I just won't be using it for this project. And I like these a lot too because the bits are swappable. So now it's a regular, now it's a Phillips head, and you can store the extra sized bits in the handle. So I really like that. So you're going to need a screwdriver and a pair of pliers. I prefer something like this because they give you a lot of leverage, but the tips are small enough to get inside the blaster where we need them. Those are good. And then a pair of scissors, kind of like these. I use these Scotch titanium ones because they're very durable and super strong, and they can really cut through some insane amounts of plastic. Anything, it's going to be interesting because you need something long and thin that's going to be able to reach inside the plunger tube, as I'll show you in a few seconds. And so I found scissors work the best. If you have really long pliers, that would work even better, but I just use scissors. For the actual modifications, you're going to need two things. Lubricant of some kind. I got this off of Amazon. This is Lucas Oil White Lithium Grease, and it works phenomenally for Nerf blasters. It's just this 1 8-ounce tube, and I haven't had to get any ever again, so that's great. And then just for the spring, I found this on Amazon. This is a Gosh Fun 6 kilogram Strongarm upgrade spring, and you can just search Strongarm, Nerf Strongarm spring on Amazon, and this should be the first one that comes up. Again, it's by Gosh Fun, and I can assume it's a Chinese or Asian company because of the characters that are on there. So that will be our upgrade spring for this build. I'll go ahead and open that up. Really excited to overhaul this blaster. Slice that open, pull out our spring, and we'll be good to go. So obviously step one is to open up the blaster, but you want to be kind of careful how you do this. So the slide here, this orange piece, is actually 2 pieces of plastic. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to start, usually with this one, I like to start in the upper left-hand corner for screws and then just put them in a line. I'll flip it around so it'll be more towards you. So you're going to start here in the upper left-hand corner. You're going to take that screw out, flip the blaster over, shake it until that screw comes out, and you're going to set it off over here. Then you're going to start on this one right here, and you're going to take all 3 of the screws for the slide out. And sometimes they won't come out, that's okay. Just keep going. Now this is just 3 screws, so I won't jump cut over this, but I will jump cut over doing the rest of the screws. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to just tap them out gently, and sometimes they get stuck in the hole, so you just take the little screwdriver tip and push, and they should come right out. So that's the first screw right here, the second one, and the third one, starting from the left and going clockwise. So that's one piece of the slide. Now before you take the other piece of the slide off, on the back here, in fact, you don't even have to, so we're going to leave it on. So just leave that piece there, as it shouldn't give you any problems whatsoever. Just hold it there and you should be fine. All right, now we're going to take the rest of the screws out of the blaster, and we're going to start right here, again in the upper left-hand corner, and then we're going to work our way clockwise around the blaster. Now, if there's a screw in like the center here, you're going to have to decide where that falls in the lineup. I'll probably do this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, so on and so forth, okay? So, you're just gonna start up here and undo all the screws. All right, so we've removed all the screws from the strong arm. Now, what I did is I just lined them up right here. So this is the one that was in the top left-hand corner, and then continuing this direction, it's continuing clockwise around the blaster. This is a really good idea to do when you don't know the size of the screws. For the strong arm, all the screws are the same size, so it doesn't matter if you get them mixed up, they'll all go in any hole in the blaster. And that's great. But for some blasters, there are different size screws. The longer ones usually take bigger portions of the blaster, like wider. But for the strong arm, they're all the same size. So another thing you'll notice is I've laid all this out on a towel. And I usually do this as just an old towel so that the screws don't roll away and so that I don't lose any important pieces, and when I'm just muscling on parts, which you'll see in a few minutes, they don't slide on the surface and get scratched. So, oh, sorry, allergies. Oh gosh. I hope that's not too loud. So what we're going to do now is we're going to very gently start to pry apart the shell into its 2 halves. I usually like to start up here in the front because there's this little gap. Just get your fingernails between there and just gently pull it apart. Don't try and rip it apart because you'll end up breaking something. All right. Okay, so what just happened there is there's a little piece in the tactical rail up top that locks attachments into place. There's a little spring right there. So that just came flying out. Let me see if I can find the piece that just shooting out onto the floor. You gotta watch that. Okay, I got it. We're good. So that's just going to stay right there. Now you're going to want to watch that because some pieces do have springs in them, and that's going to make them incredibly prone to flying out of the blaster when you first open it up. So, assuming I didn't miss any screws, which I didn't, I'm just going to gently work this thing open. Ever so carefully. I'm being a bit more gentle on this one than usual because I like this strong arm. It's one of the new Amazon recolors, like I said in the intro. If you see my Perry the Platypus video, you know I do like this blaster. Okay, almost there. Just need to get this back portion to, I think I missed a screw. Did I? I did. Yep, I missed a screw. There's one more screw right back here. And this is another reason you have to take the slide off first, is because this one will be hiding underneath the blaster slide. So let's get that off. Okay, now it should come apart. There we go. Okay, now the cylinder should drop out of this first shell. So just gently push the cylinder out, and there you go. Oh, one sec. Screw. Good. Okay. There we go. There's the front half of the blaster. Or there's half of the blaster. We're just going to put that over to the side. And now we're getting into the good stuff. Oh boy. What to do first? Okay. So, first of all, this little mechanism right here, there's a spring that's come out. So I'm going to put that back in. Hopefully the way it should go. Okay. So this is the blaster kit. So this is the blaster catch. The slide moves this piece of the the plunger rod back, and it catches on this piece of plastic. Then when you pull the trigger down, it pulls this down and releases the catch and fires the dart. So it's supposed to be spring loaded. The spring has come out. We are going to fix that. Goes right in there. It should hook on this little tab. I wasn't expecting this to happen. The entire catch just broke apart as I was opening the blaster. But that's okay, because we can fix it. Alright, so what was happening was this little catch mechanism was coming out and giving me a lot of grief, so I just taped it down with a piece of blue tape. This stuff is always good to have around. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the trigger, and to do that, there's just this one little screw that's going to be right here. You just take that out, right there, and then gently pull the trigger out. Watch that spring. Good. Okay. Now that'll give us access to the entire plunger tube assembly. But first, we're just going to gently lift this cylinder out of the blaster, just like that. Okay, and that piece comes off. Note that. All right, so there's not much we can do to the cylinder, but what we are going to do is this back portion here, these little bridges over these circles, we're going to remove those using the pliers that we have. So you're just going to grab them like that and twist. It's super easy, and out comes the dart post, and you've got a clear shot to the dart. Now this will also help it fire other kinds of darts, and it will improve airflow. Just try to get it as clean as possible. If you've got more little bits of plastic like that one right there, try and get those too. Got any weird things sticking out, just yank them off. So we're going to do that 6 times, 1 for each chamber. And that's dart post removal. Now you can do this on most Nerf blasters that don't have air restrictors, and even a few that do. You can't remove the air restrictors on every Nerf blaster because some use the air restrictors to determine which dart it's going to fire. However, this one doesn't actually need it. So we will be pulling the air restrictor out of this one as well. And I will show you how to do that once we're done with this. So you're going to take out all 6 dart posts. There we go. 5. And don't worry about detaching this little black thing. That's not important right now. Okay, that one didn't come out. There we go. 6. Now those are all garbage. You can just throw those away. All right, now you're going to want to make sure that they're smooth right here. There's going to be some sharp portions. Just push those back in. All right, so sorry about that. I had to take off my jacket. It was getting hot. Now, what we've done is we've just taken those out, and I'm just smushing them down so they don't get in the way of the rotation, pulling off any of the extra bits. And it doesn't have to be perfect. No one's going to be able to see this. Even if they look straight down the barrel, it's still only going to be slightly visible. So they don't have to be perfect. You could sand them down if you want, but I just like to leave them like that. And that's good. You're going to take this piece, put it right in the front, set it off to the side. Now this entire assembly monstrosity right here should lift right out of the blaster. I know, how crazy is that? All right. What we're really after though is only this big orange tube here. This is the plunger tube. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to rotate it this way, just slightly. And I just launched that spring that was right there halfway across our kitchen. So I will go pick that up, and then you're just going to want to try and lift it gently past this lever, kind of bend this lever out a little, and it just pulls right out. Just set that back in the blaster. 1 second. So I can find this spring. There it is. All right, now that spring's going to go on this little thing, and I'm not sure what it does, but it's probably important and vital for the blaster to work, because they're mean like that. All right, So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this back. There's already a really good seal on that. And there we go. There's the spring. We've got our upgrade spring. Now, here comes the fun part, determining how we're going to get this off. So let's start by pulling it off there. Then can we just stretch it around that? Yep. So we're going to stretch this piece over this little T, and then this piece over this little T, and then the easy part, we just unthread it. Should thread right off until we get to the end, and then clink. Excellent. Okay. Set that aside because I can definitely use more strong arm springs. Now we're going to do the reverse there. We're just going to clip it in here, stretch it over. Now this spring's a lot tougher, so hopefully we can get it. Let's go to a 1 coil section. Oh, it's close. There we go. All right, and then we're just going to thread that onto the plunger rod like that. Excellent. Now that's how you put the spring on. Just give it one more good twist. Again, this end is going to give you a little grief because it's got that coil in it. Just rotate it through, push through it. Yeah, I might have gotten it stuck. All right, let's just clip that over. Hopefully. No. We'll get it. We'll get it. Just rotate, just turn that. Oh, there we go. A little more. Good. All right. Now we're good. We're going to try and move this spring up as far as we possibly can until it hooks into these little ridges on the front. I don't know if it will. It might not. Just push it in. Nope, that was it. That was close. Well, we'll just do that. That'll work. Okay, now the other thing is the rest of this plunger tube. So there's this little pointy, sticky, outy part right here. And that's fantastic. That's really cool. Because you can just grab it with pliers and it'll break right off. Except it's attached to a spring, so it's a little tough. Come here. Get it. There we go. Try not to damage the felt around this portion because that's important. And then if you look right down in here, there's that little target thing and it's got the 4 ridges. Can we see that? There we go. Okay, so there's a little target in there and it's got the 4 ring, the little 4 posts connecting it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the scissors and we're just gonna try and cut those 4 posts out. Now this is going to take some brute strength, so just give it a few good squeezes and twist it back and forth. And there's one, I heard it. Oh, there it is. Felt that snap. There's a tiny piece of it. Yep, that's one. And go for the second one. Oh, that one came out. Yep, that one's off. And number 3, there we go. Oh, wow. I love these scissors. And 4, there we go. So that little circle thing is now out of the blaster. Just set that aside, then dump. The entire air restrictor comes out. This piece and this little spring. You no longer need them, you're good. And you can pull out this little T thing too if you feel like it, and I think I do. Just get your pliers, pull it right out. Look at that. How easy. Now basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to remove all the restrictions to get a good airflow all the way to the dart, which will be held in the chamber. Forgot that piece. So we're just creating a clear hole from the plunger all the way through so that we get a good airflow to the dart. There are a lot of restrictions and things in the way when Nerf builds them because it's a toy and it's a kid's toy and they don't want it to hurt, but if you want to go farther, this is how you do it. All right, so before we piece it all back together, there's one more thing we can do. Rearrange everything. Don't forget this tiny little spring. Okay, so before we put it all back together, we're going to take this And there are a couple of different ways you can do this. I can, sometimes I put it on a paper plate and I use a Q-tip and then I spread it, but you can just unscrew. And you're going to lubricate the O-ring, this little black thing on the plunger right here. So you're just going to give it a small squeeze and then spin it around in the white lithium grease. Just like that. Make sure it's got a good coating on it. Enough's never enough. That's good. Better too much than too little. Make sure you get the orientation of the plunger tube right. So this little thing should be at the bottom. Then you just push that in and that'll improve the seal so you get more power. This little hook thing needs to be pointing down. And I've assembled a few blasters where the catch mechanism was upside down so it didn't catch. So you want to make sure you do that right. All right, let's piece this thing back together. Now you're going to put the spring on the rod. You're going to pick this up and you're going to kind of just reverse the process you used to get it off. You're going to put it in sideways and just rotate it and click. And then just nudge the spring back into place with the screwdriver. And you are good to go. Just make sure that is good. Just drop it right back in. See if it works. Come on, get in. Get in. I think we're good. Come on. Yeah, I think I put the plunger tube in wrong. 1 second. Yep, the plunger tube wasn't completely locked in, so you want to make sure you get it a full turn in. I've never done that before. Like that? Question mark? Oh, there. Okay. Now it's good. All right, now it should fit. Excellent. That's what we want. All right, then we put the trigger back in. This little loop is going to go over there. This little thing is going to go right there. Oops, one's found. Ah, I dropped it. Dang it. There it goes. 1 sec. All right, so we're going to take this screw. We're going to put that right in there and kind of pre-screw it in a little and then just screw that down. Good, now don't put it in too tight because it doesn't need to be that tight. And then we drop the cylinder back in, gently. You're just gonna push this side into here until it locks in with the grooves like that, and we're good. Sweet. Put this thing right back there. Take this piece of tape off. Grab the other half of the blaster and you're just gonna nest this back on. I'm gonna take the screwdriver and hold this catch down with it. I don't want that flying all over the place while I'm trying to put it back together. Good. Okay, yep, that's good. Make sure it all snaps together. I'll get this top up here. Click, 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 we're good. All right, then you're going to just put all of the screws back in, starting on whichever end you want, except this one's that one right there. I remember that. So take it out. Now, when you're screwing these in, be careful because remember this is metal screws in plastic. So if you overscrew, you could crack the shell of the blaster. So just be gentle, just screw until it gives a good resistance. Sometimes you're gonna have to back out and go back in because otherwise you're going to strip the threads. That's not good, but don't over tighten the screws. I've cracked a few blaster shells because I decided, hey, wouldn't it be fun if I over tighten the screws? No, it's not fun. It's not, it's just pathetic. Okay, so I've put all the screws in the main shell. Now we're just going to take a slide, put it on like that, snaps into place. Tighten it all down. Oop, there we go. My bad. Last screw. And there you have it. A modified strong arm. That's exciting. You want to make sure that it works. Oh yeah. That definitely works. Okay, don't fire it without darts in it, because you did remove the air restrictor, so there's going to be nothing that stops a plunger tube from just ramming right into the blaster. That is impressive. That's got some power. I like it. Sweet. Well, I'll show you how it fires in comparison to a regular strong arm, but that should be just about it. All right, so I thought I'd come out here on the range, and I'm just going to show you what a stock strong arm would look like in terms of performance, and then what the modified version would look like. So I'm going to be shooting these white darts out of the stock strong arm, and then these green zombie strike darts out of the modified one. So first the stock, put that right there. I had to pick the one that didn't work. Ah, dang it. All right. All right, now we'll go down range and see what kind of ranges we can get. Back up to about there. Oh, that one was far. Okay, not bad. Like I said, the strong arm is a very good blaster by itself, but when you modify it, you can get some crazy impressive performance from it. That one didn't even fire. Let's load that one back up and see what happens. All right, here we go. They're hooking something awful. Let's see if we can't get a few shots down range. Not bad. So it's definitely hitting harder. I like it. I like it. All right. Well, there you have it. The mod guide for this strong arm. Hopefully I'll be able to do more blasters eventually. Probably the hammer shot, maybe, if I can find a stock one. All of mine are modified. And then we'll see, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. You'll see me in the next one.